Hi, this is Dr. Swapna and I welcome you to your Learn Lab. If you are an IGNOU student looking for help in your studies, then you have reached the right place. Here we have lecture videos on different core and elective subjects of important IGNOU courses. We aim to help you ace your exams. So hit subscribe to our channel, and as you watch, make sure to like and share too. Come and join me on this beautiful learning journey. In this video, we are studying Biopsychology, which is BPCC 102. It is an important core subject for the BA Honours Psychology students, and we continue with Block 2, which is all about our nervous system. And we were studying Unit 3, which is titled The Central Nervous System. In our earlier videos, we have seen different types of nervous system. We have seen what is the central nervous system and what is the peripheral nervous system. We have seen the two important parts of central nervous system, which are they? Brain and the spinal cord. We have studied the spinal cord in detail, including the structure and function. And then we started with brain. We saw the structure of the brain, what are the outer layers and how the insides look like. We also saw the different parts of brain. In the last video, we studied about forebrain in detail. And now we are left with what? We are left with the midbrain and the hindbrain, right? Now we are going to see about midbrain in detail. What are we going to study? We'll see what is the midbrain. We'll see what are the different parts of midbrain, and we'll also see what are the different functions of the midbrain. What is midbrain? Midbrain is also called mesencephalon, right? It is the middle part of the brain. You can see it here in this image, this green portion which you see, this is the midbrain, and you can see that this is the middle part of the brain. Now, besides being the mid part of the brain, it is also the topmost part of the brain stem. Okay, if you see here, this part you see, this is the brain stem, and your midbrain happens to be on top of this brain stem. All right, and you can also see here that the midbrain connects the forebrain to the hindbrain. Here is your forebrain and here is your hindbrain, and this green midbrain is connecting both these parts. All right. Midbrain is composed of white matter and reticular formation. All right. We have studied that nervous system is composed of mainly neurons and glial cells. Brain, being an important part of the nervous system, is also made of these two types of cells. They make the brain areas appear gray and white in color. We studied that the cerebral cortex, or the outermost and the largest part of the brain, is composed of gray matter. Gray matter is nothing but cluster of cell bodies of the neuron. We have learned the structure of neuron and we know which is the cell body, right? And white matter is a cluster of axons. We know that axons can be myelinated or it can be non-myelinated. What is myelin? Myelin is a fatty insulating substance, right? And the myelin sheath of axons give this area whitish appearance. If you remember, the spinal cord has white matter on the outer area and gray matter at the core, right? When it comes to brain, the situation reverses. It's gray outside and white at the core. All right. So our brain is composed of mainly the white matter. Besides white matter, we also have reticular formation. What is reticular formation? It is a network of interconnected neurons that functions in integrating, coordinating and influencing various brain regions. So what do we have? We have all axons which are mainly myelinated, giving it a whitish appearance, and then we also have reticular formation, which is network of interconnected neurons that functions in integrating, coordinating and influencing various brain regions. Let us look at the functions of the midbrain now. What is the first function we have? Motor control. What is motor control? It's the way our brain coordinates movements in our body. And how it's done? By sending messages to the muscles involved. So the midbrain, it tells the muscles involved in your eyes to move. So if you want to look up, or you want to look down, or maybe sideways, your midbrain sends the instruction to your eye muscles and it makes your eyes move. This way you can look up or down. Let me give you an example. So you're walking and you see suddenly something flew above your head. Okay, so your sensory detectors are taking this signal. Okay, something just flew above my head. It takes this information to the midbrain, and midbrain will see, oh, something flew. We don't know exactly what it is. We need to see it or look at it a bit more closely. So the midbrain now sends the signals to your eyes, tells it to, okay, now you need to look up, and then your eyes move up, you see what exactly flew. Based on that, your brain is able to decide, okay, this is safe or it's not safe, right? So this is the motor control function of the midbrain. Secondly, we have sensory processing. All right, the midbrain receives signals from your visual and auditory receptors, and then it processes it. So when you see something or when you hear something, all these information are taken into the midbrain, where it processes the information. So it helps you to identify what you see or what you hear. All right, so that was sensory processing. Then we have visual reflexes. So when you enter a brightly lit room, your pupils constrict, or so this part, you if you have seen your eye closely in the mirror, can you see this black part in the center? Whatever your color of eye may, this center, this black part, this is the pupil. All right, and midbrain controls the constriction and dilation of this pupil. All right, so yeah, I was telling, so when you enter a brightly lit room, your pupil becomes smaller. Okay, so your eyes are not able to handle that amount of light, so you open your eyes very little for some time till you get adjusted to the bright light. Similarly, when you enter a dark room, your pupils dilate, or you open your eyes wide to see in the dark, right? This is also controlled by the midbrain. This function of adjusting the size of your eyes based on the light outside, this function is controlled by the midbrain. After that, we have the fourth function, which is coordination. We have already talked about it. What is it? Midbrain coordinates between the forebrain and hindbrain. You can see it here. Midbrain, because it lies between the forebrain and the hindbrain, it acts as a connection or a gate between the forebrain and the hindbrain. In this way, it is able to coordinate between the functions of the forebrain and the hindbrain. Now that we have seen the functions of the midbrain, let's look at the different parts of the midbrain. So, yeah, midbrain is divided into mainly two parts. The first is the tectum and second is the tegmentum. We look each of these parts in detail. Okay. We start with the tectum. What is tectum? Tectum is the topmost part of the midbrain. Topmost part of the midbrain. It's also called the roof of the midbrain. You can see here, this is the midbrain and this is the topmost part, tectum, which is the roof of the midbrain. What does it do? It has a role in sensory processing, particularly visual and auditory reflexes. We saw in the function of the midbrain also that what does it do? It processes the visual and auditory signals that come in through your visual receptors and auditory receptors, right? So tectum plays an important role in sensory processing, particularly visual and auditory reflexes. It has two colliculi, each on either side. What is colliculi? The term colliculi was derived from Latin word for small bumps. You can see here, you can see this image. This is a bump. You see the size. It's not flat. It's a bit raised. Like how you see humps on the road. This is a bump on the brain, and these bumps are called colliculi. Okay. And there are one on either side, on the left side and the right side, right? And there are two types of colliculi found in the midbrain. First is the superior colliculi. Which is the superior colliculi here? Okay, do you remember what is superior and inferior? We have learned that in planes, anatomical planes to study brain, right? So superior would be on top and inferior would be on the bottom. So if you see this image, this top bump that you see, this is the superior colliculi, right? And the bottom one, the slightly bigger bottom bump, this is the inferior colliculi. All right. So the tectum has 4 colliculi, 2 on either side, one superior colliculi and one inferior colliculi on one side, and another one superior colliculi and one inferior colliculi on the other side. All right. The superior colliculi is primarily involved in relay and processing of visual information. All right. Which means it would be coordinating the eye and head movements and orienting the attention. So I told you about the example, right? When you see something flying above your head, but you don't know exactly what flew away. So your receptors would be taking that information to the brain, midbrain basically, and the midbrain will be telling your eyes to move. But is it enough that only your eyes move? No, you need to make sure that your head also moves accordingly so that you can look up, right? So this superior colliculi is primarily involved in this function. It relays the relay and processes visual information, and it coordinates the eye and head movement and orients the attention so that you can give attention to whatever flew over your head. Alright. Superior colliculi also receive input from the retina, visual cortex and other regions of the brain. Okay. So it has to first receive the visual input, which then it processes and tells the muscles what to do, right? So superior colliculi receives these visual inputs from the retina, which is a part of your eye, then the visual cortex and other regions of the brain. The inferior colliculi, the one which you see at the bottom, this is the inferior colliculi. Again, we have one on the left and one on the right. And it is a key part of the auditory pathway. It is responsible for processing auditory information and coordinating acoustic motor functions. So do you know what is acoustic motor function? So when you listen to a song, sometimes what happens is that you will be so lost in the rhythm of the music that you might tap your hands according to the beats, or maybe you will tap your legs, or maybe how you dance to the music, right? So you are coordinating the movement of your hands or legs based on the sound you hear or the music you hear, right? This is called acoustic motor functions, right? And which is that part? Now you need to remember the inferior colliculi in the tectum of your midbrain helps you to enjoy that music and tap your foot to that song. Okay, or maybe tap your hands or fingers, or maybe wave your hands at the music, or maybe even dance, right? So this was the function of the inferior colliculi. So midbrain, we said it mainly functions on visual and auditory signals, right? So visual one, what is it? Superior colliculi, and the auditory part, the inferior colliculi, right? So the two superior colliculi and the two inferior colliculi together are called corpora quadrigemina. Okay. Now this information, that's a bit of an extra information, but yeah, I thought this would be something that you will need if you like this subject. If not, just ignore. Okay. So this superior and inferior colliculi together, all these four colliculi are called corpora quadrigemina. Quadri means 4, right? So that was all about tectum. Now we move on to the next part of the midbrain, which is tegmentum. Tegmentum lies in the middle of the midbrain. We said tectum lies on the top of the midbrain, right? It's the roof of the midbrain. And now here tegmentum, it lies in the middle of the midbrain. You can see this violet part right here. This is zoomed in also. This is the tegmentum. And it contains some part of the reticular formation. I'll tell you what reticular formation is. It also has two nuclei. substantia nigra, and red nucleus. So this is reticular formation. We have seen this before also while we were discussing the function and part of the midbrain, right? So what is reticular formation? It is the interconnected neurons that serves as a pathway to send the information to the cortex, thalamus, and the spinal cord. Okay, you can see it here. This part, this is the reticular formation. It's just interconnected neurons. And what does it do? It relays information between your cortex, thalamus, and the spinal cord. This would be the cortex. This would go down to the spinal cord, right? And thalamus is here, right? And it is responsible for maintaining arousal, sleep, attention, and muscle movement. Here arousal means how attentive you are, how awake you are, and you know what is sleep, attention, and muscle movement. Alright, so that was reticular formation of the tegmentum. We said beside reticular formation, tegmentum has two nuclei, the red nuclei and substantia nigra, right? Let's see what is red nucleus. So from the name itself, we know that red nucleus looks red in color. You can see it here, right? It appears red in color due to high iron content. It's an important component of sensory motor system. It's involved in motor control. We know what is motor control, right? It's also involved in movement planning. Like if you're thirsty, you want to get up and get that glass of water. There is a lot of coordination and planning involved in this movement of where you stand up, you walk, you extend your hands and grab that glass and then bring it to your mouth and drink it, right? So that kind of movement planning is also helped by this red nucleus. It also helps in integration of motor and non-motor information. Okay, something that is related to movement and something that is related to non-movement kind of information. Okay, so that was red nucleus for you. You can see it here, the red nucleus here, right? We move on to the next part, which is substantia nigra. You can see this black band here. This is substantia nigra. It is black in appearance due to high content of a pigment called neuromelanin. You have heard about melanin, right? Melanin makes your skin dark. Here we have neuromelanin, which gives this nuclei, substantia nigra, black appearance. Okay, what does it do? It produces dopamine. We know that dopamine is a neurotransmitter. We have learned the function of dopamine also. In case you don't remember or you want to refer back, I'll put the link to the playlist in the description. Alright, so substantia nigra produces dopamine. It's involved in motor control and reward function. When you feel good, like you have achieved something, so you feel happy, right? Your dopamine hits. You get the dopamine hit when you have done something good or you have achieved something, you feel happy, right? So tegmentum, the substantia nigra of tegmentum is involved in motor control and reward function. We have also learned that dopamine prevents Parkinson's disease. So that becomes a function of substantia nigra also. Alright, so that was tegmentum for you. Let's learn a little more. Besides tectum and tegmentum, the midbrain also has cerebral peduncles. Okay, this consists of large bundles of nerve fibers connecting the forebrain or the cortex with lower parts of the brainstem and spinal cord. It functions in relaying motor information. You can see this area. This is the cerebral peduncle. Okay, this helps in relaying motor information between cortex, your cerebral cortex, and the lower parts of your brainstem. This is also a part of the midbrain. Alright, so I hope you understood what we have learned till now. This was all about midbrain that you needed to know for your exams. Thank you all for learning with me. If you found the video helpful, make sure you let me know by hitting the like button. Make sure you share the video with your friends too. Subscribe to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the new videos. You can reach me by simply dropping a comment. See you in the next one. Till then, happy learning. you.